Welcome to the Metal Bob Live podcast. I am your host, Metal Bob. Today's show is brought to you by Legend Picks, legendpicks.com. Also, artist Jeremiah Kalleck. You can find him on YouTube and keep up with all his latest creations. On today's show, episode 1, I had a conversation with vocalist Vick Wright, former Tokyo Blade and Johnny Crash frontman. We talked about his latest music projects with Bob Kulik and Corey Gibbs, and also what he's been up to. So sit back, have a listen, and I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you. Vick Wright.
Hello, Bob. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. What's going on?
Not much, buddy. I appreciate you calling in today.
Yeah, no problem.
So, I guess my first question is this Bob Kulik thing, Skeletons in the Closet, Goldfinger. How'd that come about?
Yeah, I was working on, I did one song with him, the remake of the Bond theme, Goldfinger.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah, Goldfinger. Yeah, I just listened to that a couple times today. I've heard it before, but I just listened to it a couple more times. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it was really good. Basically, I know Bobby Ferrari, who's one of the producers that works with him, and those guys are here in Vegas. So, I've known Bobby for over 20 years, and that's how I know Bob. So they were just like, "Can you sing this?" And I'm like, "Let me hear it." And he played these awesome guitar parts, and I'm like, "I love this, man, right up my alley." So I did it. Ultimately, there was going to be a whole album of Bond tracks. And I was going to do that. It never came to fruition. It just, we just did the one song.
Well, it sounds amazing, dude. I just listened to it again just a couple minutes before you called. I listened to it again, and man, I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's an epic track, definitely.
Yeah, that thing's full of some great songs, man. A lot of different guests on there, and I think even...
What do you like best? What do you like best from the album?
Oh, honestly, I like the whole thing. I see Bruce was playing a little bit of bass on there. That's out of his ballpark there for a little bit, ain't it?
Yeah. My favorite track on it...
I'm sorry, I lost you.
I'm saying, Bob, my favorite track on the Kulik album is the Dee Snider track.
Oh man, yeah, that's a good one, man. That's really good.
Yeah, that's one of the best, I think.
Yeah, that's a great album.
And of course, Goldfinger.
Oh, Goldfinger's great. I was listening to that. I'm like, at first I didn't even realize that was the Bond song, and I'm like, then I had to listen to it again. I'm like, I know this, and then I realized that's what it was, and I'm like, man, this is cool.
Yeah, that's what we were shooting for. We wanted to do it different, do a different vibe. It's almost like heavy metal meets Bond meets Alice Cooper kind of thing, Instead of Shirley Bassey singing about Goldfinger, pretty much I'm singing it like I am Goldfinger,
Right.
That's what the effect that we wanted.
No, that's excellent. So that's probably the most recent thing you've done. Do you have any plans for any other projects musically or coming up? Or
I did an EP with I don't know if you're familiar with Corey Gibbs. He's a young blues guitar player. We did some stuff about 18 months ago with him. Bob Kulik and Bobby Ferrari produced it.
Okay.
I wrote the songs with Corey. We did 5 songs for an EP. It's not out yet. I don't know if it's going to come out anytime soon. There's a couple of record labels that were interested in it. We'll see. But it came out really well. It actually sounds like almost like a Johnny Crash album.
Okay.
It would be like the third Johnny Crash. I used a lot of my ideas that I never used with Johnny Crash back in the day. And it came out really good.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing that. Anything with you on it's great, man, just so you know.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, I see Airbourne's back out again. Have you done anything with those guys since the original album?
Yeah, no, I've not done anything with them. We're still in contact. We're still buddies. I taught them everything I could, especially from a songwriting aspect, and they've gone on and done their thing, man. They're doing a great job. They're doing really good. I mean, right now they're on tour with Alice Cooper in Australia, and I think they're gonna join him, opening for him in Europe, or at least the UK. I'm not sure exactly, but I think that's the plan. And then they're going out with Iron Maiden this summer in the US.
Wow, that's got to be a big deal for those guys.
No, it's huge, man. It's definitely huge. I mean, they're doing pretty good on their own. They do, 5,000 seat theaters, and then in Europe they do a lot of the summer festivals, and they're doing really good, man. Those guys are definitely, definitely a great rock and roll band, and I think they're going to be around for a long time, Well,
their albums are definitely very consistent. Every one of them seems to outdo the other. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those records you just throw on and throw it on to 10 right out the gate, and it just blows everybody away.
Yeah, I mean, they're carrying the torch for AC/DC, basically. I don't know if AC/DC are going to come back or, what they're going to do, but it's that, Aussie pub rock, Rose Tattoo, AC/DC kind of style. I'd always talk to them about that, and they say, people say we sound like AC/DC or Rose Tattoo, and I'm like, well, you guys sound in that vein, and they'd always say, yeah, but that's a style over here. It's what we call Aussie pub rock, and it's all the pubs and bars, all the bands sound like this kind of vibe, this sound. So, they're carrying the torch for that,
Right. So, I know that I've had you on before. We've talked about the movies you've done, To Hell with a Bullet. Is there any other movies in Vick Wright's future?
I'm writing something right now. I don't know what's going to happen with it. Hollywood, even in the last 4 or 5 years, man, it's changed a lot. I mean, you look at Hollywood now, and it's you don't really see a lot of independent films. Think about it. It's just all blockbusters, you know what I mean, or remakes.
Right.
So Hollywood's changed a lot. I mean, I remember, back in the 90s, Hollywood changed for the better, in my opinion. A lot of great movie makers came along, guys like Quentin Tarantino, and those kind of guys, Spike Jonze, just so many great filmmakers that were making independent films, which did really well. I mean, they did hundreds of millions of dollars, a lot of them, and now it's you kind of kept out of it. It's more, I think the best writing and the best stuff is TV. Some of the best TV that we've ever seen is out right now, and some of the worst movies are out right now. So I think the movie industry is definitely hurting right now. I think other than the blockbusters. I'm not saying hurting when we're talking about money. If there's anybody listening, I'm not talking about money. Money's made in Hollywood. I mean, there's a lot of money made with the big blockbuster movies. But when it comes to independent film, which is what I'm into, it's harder. It's harder to get them out there, harder to get distribution. So, I think the future right now is TV. I mean, television is fantastic,
Right.
Saying that, what are you watching right now? What do you like?
Oh, man, dude. Honestly, I don't really watch a lot of TV, man. I come home after work and I turn on the stereo, man. That's kind of still where I'm at.
Good for you, man.
I'm old school,
man. It's
better
for your brain.
Yeah, man. I listen to all my old school tunes, man.
That's great. I mean, my dad used to say, you'd call the television the idiot box.
Right.
He as a kid, he'd be like, get out and play. Get out on your bicycle, run around the field at the back of the house, do something,
Right.
Climb a tree.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some great shows on. I mean, my wife, she likes some certain shows, and I sit down and watch some of them with her. They're good. They're great stories, man. But if it was me, I could go without a TV and just listen to music all day long, man.
Yeah, that's good, man. Me too. Me too.
So, are there?
I actually just saw Aerosmith last night. That was their last big show for the next few months, and I went to the Aerosmith gig, and I couldn't believe it, man. Tyler's 71, and he's running around like he's 26.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's something else, man. Was Kramer with him?
Yeah, he's back. I guess he broke his foot or something a few months ago, and you know, the word is that they made him re-audition for the band, which I don't know the inside scoop on it, but he played great. The show was fantastic. It sounded great. It looked great.
Nice.
It was packed out. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, it's a fantastic show.
So, I mean, do you ever get that itch again to like maybe try to pull back Johnny Crash or any of them bands that you were in the past?
I mean, I did. I think we spoke about it last time. I did. It costs money to get a band going in this day and age, man. You really, I mean, when it comes to rehearsing and getting people to and from, wherever you're at. And most of the guys I know in LA, rehearsal, website, merchandise. If you're going to make a business out of it, it takes a little cash. And I wasn't prepared to just put in all my money to do it.
Right.
So I ran that Kickstarter campaign, and I remember a lot of people on Instagram, Facebook saying, "Hey, you're going to get a band together again." So I said, well, let's see what happens. So I ran it, and we didn't make enough money to, do it. So it wasn't a big deal. It was like, I guess nobody's interested. If they're not going to, if people won't pitch in, for a Kickstarter, then they're probably not going to buy a ticket on an album. And, that's the way I look at it. If it was overwhelming where everybody's like, oh my God, I want to contribute to this, let's get it going, I'd be doing it. I would do it. But, I think that's something that, that was a good litmus test to see if the band would succeed or not. I mean, does anybody really care? That's what you have to ask when you do a reunion. I mean, that's the first thing anybody says in a record company, management company, promoters. Does anybody care? If Aerosmith didn't, do a show for 5 years, which is pretty much what they did. I guess it was 79 when they quit the Joe Perry project, and then they came back in 84, 85, or whatever it was, 83 maybe. That's 3-4 years. And, people would have said, was anybody interested? And most people said, hell yeah. When it comes to Johnny Crash or, me fronting Tokyo Blade or whatever, I think that, I don't know if really anybody's that interested. I think a lot of time's passed. So a lot of people who might have been interested in it 10 or 15 years ago are not so interested anymore.
Yeah, I get it. The industry makes it tough too, man, because they really push a lot of this new stuff down your throat, and they don't tend to let this stuff coexist, and that's really a lot of the problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. I mean, the music business has changed so much. It's everything is created now. You better hit it big with your first album, or else, you're not really going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? It's not like the 70s or even 80s where you get 2 or 3 albums to kind of, give it a shot to build your live following and build your fan base. It's more about internet stuff now and YouTube and, and so on and so forth.
Right. So I got a question for you. So I'm sure, just like every other rocker out there, you're a Black Sabbath guy.
Say again, man. I'm losing you. I don't know what's going on here. I'm finding it hard to hear you.
You're probably a big Black Sabbath guy.
I like Black Sabbath. Yeah, I always liked Ozzy Black Sabbath. I also like Dio Black Sabbath too, which to me they're like two different bands. It's not even like the same thing.
Right.
So I like them independently of each other. As a vocalist, obviously Ronnie, man, I mean, Heaven and Hell, that album, I think it's probably one of the best hard rock albums ever made. You know?
Personally,
I think it's a fantastic album.
Personally, that's my favorite Black Sabbath record. What I was referring to, a lot of people this week, the original Black Sabbath album turned 50, which kind of blows my mind if you sit and think about it. Yeah,
that's half a century, man. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, Black Sabbath, I mean, they were, they kind of turned everybody on to that whole genre, and it just kind of sprung from there. At least I felt that way.
Yeah, they were so original, man. I mean, the first album especially, but when that came out, it's like, wow. People, you figure people listen to the Beatles and whatever, and you listen to that and you go, what?
Right. Something's brewing.
Crazy.
Yeah, 50 years.
They're singing about nuclear war, and crazy stuff like that. War pigs, oh man, it was, mind blowing,
Yeah, I mean, for an album to turn 50 is amazing, and for these guys to still be doing this stuff 50 years later is amazing.
Yeah. What about Ozzy, man?
Yeah,
he's not doing too good.
No, he's not, man. I guess they just said he had diagnosed him with Parkinson's, and he doesn't look real good. Last time I seen him, I seen him on an award show probably a week or two ago, and he didn't look so hot.
Yeah, I mean, he's an old man, obviously, but yeah, I mean, there's been something wrong with him for a while. I think finally he just came out and said it, but I mean, even back when you watch the show The Osbournes, you go, what's going on with it? They're saying, well, he's clean and sober, and people are like, you can't be clean and sober. Look how he talks. Look how he walks.
Right.
There was something going on back then, even.
Yeah, it's hard to watch, man. I tell you, all the heroes we grew up listening to, man, it's starting to kind of fall off a little bit. We've lost quite a few people over the last few years too.
Yeah, it's very true, man. It's very true.
But yeah, man. So so musically, you got this other thing coming out. You said with Bob Kulik, little blues EP. You said.
Well, it's Corey Gibbs.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's like a protege. He was a child protege guitar player. Hit 17. We produced, this EP with him. It came out really well. I wrote all the songs with him, so they came out, like I said, it's kind of a Johnny Cash kind of thing. It came out good. I don't know if it's going to come out. I hope it does. We've been talking to some people, but it's getting the right deal,
Right.
And he just keeps doing what he does. He does some of the summer fairs, and he's up there in Northern California, and he does his thing. He's always playing and jamming. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I honestly don't know. I'm doing other things, so it's kind of not really high on my list of priorities to see, what's going on with it. I sang on it, and I'm on it. I'll keep you updated on it if anything changes. But as of right now, it's not coming out, but we are talking to some people.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be really interested in hearing that. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. It's good, sleazy, good old down-home rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I'm sure if you had your hands in it, I'm sure I already got an idea what it's going to sound like, man. I'm looking forward to that.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So anything else going on in Vick Wright's world right now that anybody should know about?
I'm actually working on, I have a clothing company that I'm working on. I can't tell you what it's called yet because I'm trademarking all the stuff, all the logos and the name and everything. But that's something I'm working on right now. So we'll see. We'll see in the next 6 months. That should be out.
Okay.
You know, and I'll let you know what's going on with it. That's what I've been working on, basically.
That sounds great, man.
You know?
Maybe when you get that thing rolling, we can have you back on. We can push that for you.
Yeah, I'll send you some samples. It's just like a rock and roll clothing company, you know?
Oh, right on, man. You make big guy sizes? I might need a big guy size.
Any size,
All
you
right.
know, whatever size, yeah. Yeah, we'll start with the hats and then shirts and whatever, and move down to jeans and then sneakers eventually. So, yeah.
All right, cool, man.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, man, I really, really, really appreciate you calling in today, man. That you made my day, man. So.
Well, thanks, man. It's good to talk to you. You know, what's going on? So, what's going on? This is the podcast, right?
Yes, sir. This is actually the first episode, man. I just launched this thing just a few weeks ago. This is actually the first episode that's going to be released here in a couple days.
Cool.
Yeah, and like I said, I had talked to you a while back. I was telling you I was trying to get a radio show thing going or a podcast going, and this is what I got now. So I'm hoping.
Well, good luck with it, man. It's that's cool. You know.
Yeah.
Keep the fires burning, man.
I appreciate it, man. I got some good peeps coming on. I got like Jackie Ramos from Hurricane Alice. I don't know if you remember those guys. I got.
Yeah, I remember those guys. Yeah.
Charlie Overby's coming on here in a couple weeks, and
cool.
Yeah, man. I love the old school music, man. It's in my heart. That's what I live, love, and breathe, man. So, you know, I try to keep that stuff alive as best I can.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's good.
I mean,
you know,
as far as
I got to keep rock and roll alive, man.
Man, as far as I'm concerned, there's only rock and roll.
It's listen. I always, when I'm listening to stuff, man, it's 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's it, and maybe some 90s.
Yeah.
As of anything else, I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not really into it.
Right. And I get it. I mean, there's there's some good stuff out there. I'm not knocking anything, man. If it's good, it's good. You know, I like a lot of different stuff, man. But you know, my heart lies in the '80s, man. That's where I grew up.
What's your favorite new stuff right now?
Favorite new stuff. Wow. Well,
I mean, when I say new, I mean the last couple of years.
Well, I'll tell you something that just got released about, I don't know, a week ago that I'm really digging. It's called Black Swan.
Black Swan?
Yes, it's Robin McCauley, Matt Starr, Reb Beach, and Jeff Pilson. It was just released.
Wow, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it was just released on Frontier Records. That thing smokes.
Really?
That thing smokes.
Okay, I'll check that out, man.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. You know, it's kind of, I don't know how much of a tour we're going to get. You know, a lot of times when these guys collaborate and do these supergroup type things, you know, you get an album or two out of them, but you don't get a whole lot of shows.
Yeah.
But the outcome of the record is amazing.
Wow, great. I'll check that out, man. Thank you.
Yeah. But, you know, I get into a lot of different stuff. You know, when I'm not listening to the rock and roll stuff, I'm listening to, like, Colin Hay, you know, the guy from Men at Work, Colin Hay. I'm an old school John Prine guy. I love John Prine. You know, stuff like that. Jim Croce. You know, all that stuff's real, you know, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too, actually. I like it all. I like old school country too, like old stuff, not the modern country, but older stuff.
Yeah, the old school country stuff's good. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat.
I think country radio now didn't have country music on it anymore. It's like pop music.
Yeah, there's a handful of guys that are still kind of carrying a torch, you know, that still are on the edge of that old school, but a lot of it is real poppy these days, man, and it's hard to listen to.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's like listening to pop music. Like, wait a minute, this is country music. What's going on?
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Well, man, Vic, it's been great, man, having you on the show. Man, I really appreciate it. You are episode 1. It'll be out here in just a couple days, and I will make sure to send you a link, man, so you can check it out on your own, buddy.
Oh, much appreciated, Bob. Thank you, man. It's always good to talk to you.
Always good to talk to you, my brother. You be good.
I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you next year, sometime, and we'll catch up with what's going on with me. The clothing company and everything. We'll get into it.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, brother. I really appreciate you calling in today.
All right, man. Thanks, man.
Yeah, take care, Vic.
Okay, you too.
All right. All right, that's a wrap on episode 1. Thanks for listening. Please check the links and also subscribe.